Hi, everybody. Good morning from here in Chongqing, and welcome to the latest episode in our series Living with COVID. Today, I have a special guest called Patrick Freeman from the USA. He first came to Chongqing on a visit in early 2018, and because he liked it so much, he decided to live here permanently later the same year. One of his big passions is creating videos and producing voiceovers, and he now makes videos about Chongqing and living in China on YouTube and has a sizable following. Okay, so Patrick, thank you for accepting our invitation today.
Well, thanks for having me. It's my pleasure. I'm glad to be here.
Great. So we're about a month now into the quarantine period. So how are you feeling nowadays?
We're considering the circumstances, we're doing well. I mean, we obviously have a pretty bad case of cabin fever, and we're ready to get outside and kind of get back to normal life. But overall, I mean, we're holding our own, and just keeping a positive attitude with everything that's going on. So we're doing well.
Okay, and how has the outbreak affected your lifestyle? Could you say a few words about that?
Aside from having, I mean, we've got this voluntary isolation. It's caused us to kind of do a lot of internal reflecting, and really what's important about life. It's as far as like kind of the day-to-day things. Obviously, we can't in our particular apartment complex. We can only go out once every 2 days, and it used to be where two individuals could go out once every 2 days, but now it's one individual every 2 days. So they're becoming a little more restrictive as far as the number of people that can leave the apartment complex. So that's a bit of an inconvenience, but overall, I can understand why they're doing it. We're definitely having to think about, plan ahead on our shopping. I mean, as you know, living here in China, I mean, going to the grocery store can be relatively convenient and easy, and really they're literally right outside your doorstep in many cases, or the convenience stores are. So we've had to rethink our shopping strategy, and, making sure that we have the right list and that we kind of keep an inventory of what we need and what we have. So that's just, a minor inconvenience, but, overall it hasn't impacted us, too much. I mean, we watch a lot of TV. I probably spend 6 to 8 hours a day working on videos, try to upload those on a daily basis to keep friends and family and people there. I've got quite a few followers kind of throughout the world, so try to keep them tuned in as to what's going on.
Right. So I mean, with the inconveniences aside, would you say there have also been some positives to the situation from spending all this time at home?
Yeah, it's definitely so I've got a girlfriend, and she has a son who's 6 years old, and her mom and dad are here as well. They actually came in for the holiday, and obviously they can't return to their home. They're actually kind of northeast of Beijing. So we've all been kind of huddled into this one 3-bedroom apartment, and just trying to we've learning a lot about each other. I don't give myself as much credit as I probably should when it comes to my Chinese and knowing Chinese, being that I've been here for about 17, 18 months. But I've learned a lot more Chinese, even though I really haven't sat down and studied much. But just listening to their conversations, I'm definitely progressing in that area. And Guoguo, Cui Cui's son, my girlfriend's son, his English has just skyrocketed. I mean, it's amazing how much little kids listen to you as you're talking, and he's just picked up words here and there. So it's really cool to see that. And Cui Cui as well, she's starting to learn a lot more English. So
yeah, I remember when my daughter first came to China when she was about 2.5 years old. I mean, she picked the language up completely in about a month or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, so yeah, more Chinese than I did after learning it for about 7 or 8 years, something like that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so okay, so what would you say you missed most about normal life? What you did before the crisis broke out.
Yeah, I would say the first two things that I'm thinking of is, and it sounds silly, but I go to the gym. I go to the gym probably anywhere 5 to 6 days a week. and have done that for, I mean, for as long as I can remember. And that I really miss. I can feel my body getting a little flabby, and I've gained a little weight with all the noodles that they're preparing and dumplings that they're preparing. So I'm missing the gym, and I'm missing just the interaction. I teach part time, about 12 to 15 hours a week. So I'm missing that engagement with the children and teaching them and seeing their smiling faces, and then of course missing time with friends and just being out. I love exploring the city and exploring China. And that's probably those are two things that have been the most difficult, is not being able to get out and see Chongqing and be around friends.
Right. So how do you see the Chinese response to the crisis? Do you think they've handled it well, in your opinion?
What I've seen around Chongqing, I think the municipal government has done a really good job and distributing information to the citizens and the expats and trying to keep them tuned in to what's going on. So yeah, I think the government here in the Chongqing area has done an exceptional job. I'm very, very happy to see that. I think we also have to give credit to the citizens too. I mean, they have, everyone has kind of like, they've banded together separately, if that makes sense. They've made the decision, okay, this is a dangerous thing. We need to take the recommendation of the government. And, people are wearing masks. I see people wearing gloves. I see, obviously people are staying in, so they're adhering to what the government is asking them to do. So I think it's been a really good partnership between the Chinese citizens and the expats and the government. And I think that's one of the reasons, at least from the numbers that I'm seeing lately, that it is starting to level off. And I'm cautiously optimistic about that. But I think overall the government has done well, and we've got to give credit to the citizens. They've just really done a good job in making sure they adhere to what the government's recommending.
Sure. And we know now as well the coronavirus is beginning to catch on in other countries around the world.
Mm-hmm.
So now I would like to ask you, if it became more of an issue in the USA, your home country, do you think they would be able to handle it so well over there?
I've thought about that, and I've actually done quite a bit of research. My initial thought is they've got, the United States has, one of the top medical systems in the world, and it's obviously not the best. There are a lot of other great, countries that have a great medical system. So I think from facilities, I think from medical personnel, the hospitals, I think they are well prepared to handle this. My only concern is, it's a democratic, free country, and this is obviously a communist country, and citizens tend to be more respectful and not to say that U.S. citizens are not respectful of the government, but they tend to adhere to requests from the government more quickly. And my fear is in the United States that, like I said, it's a free country. My fear is that you're going to have some individuals that are going to say, you're infringing on my rights. I can do whatever I want. So that's probably, and it may be an extreme fear, and hopefully it doesn't come true, but that's one thing that concerns me about America is having those one-offs that think they can do anything they want and not, confine themselves like the government may have to ask them to do. So that's my concern. But medically speaking, I think they're well positioned to handle it. It's just, you might have some, for lack of a better term, renegade citizens that do not adhere and follow the advice of the United States government.
Sure. Okay, well, thank you very much for answering our questions today. So before we finish, I'd just like to ask, if people are interested in following your work, how can they find you?
They can go to YouTube and type in Life with Patrick Freeman or Patrick Freeman Exploring China. Any one of those should bring up my name rather quickly. So it's Patrick Freeman, and then China will pull it up. But that's the best way to do it. But I just actually changed my YouTube channel from Exploring China with Patrick Freeman to Life in China with Patrick Freeman.
Right. Yeah, and I'm subscribed to that as well, and I've been enjoying your videos a lot.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay, great. So it's been great having you on the show today. So I hope you get through the crisis okay. and I'm sure we'll be seeing you again on iChongqing soon.
Okay, hey, can I say one last thing if you don't mind?
Sure, go for it.
I've since I've arrived here, we both know Mikkel Larson, who's a reporter there. I want to give kudos to iChongqing, and this is not like a commercial. This is just a heartfelt expression of my gratitude that you guys have done a really good job in keeping us expats updated. I mean, like I can't read Chinese, and the fact that your website has English is great, and I access it quite often, and I've actually referenced it in my YouTube channel so that people can access that and find up-to-date information. So I just want to thank you guys at iChongqing for doing a great job and keeping the expats updated.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much for your kind words and your support, and we'll certainly continue doing our best to bring the latest information. Yeah, so thank you very much for that.
Oh, my pleasure, my pleasure. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, take care. So thank you for joining us again today, and I'm sure we'll see you on iChongqing again someday soon.
That sounds good. Appreciate it.
Have a great day. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.